Hey guys, today we'll be decorating a large mosaic number with balloons. What you will need, I have a ton of 5 and 10-inch balloons, scissors, balloon glue, or you could also use double-sided tape, but sometimes I just prefer the balloon dots because it's already in handy little dots and I don't have to worry about cutting or tearing double-sided tape. A balloon pump. You also have the option of a balloon tire if you choose, and your number. All right, let's get started. So what I like to do is place my balloons throughout the number just to get an idea of how I want them to be. I usually change this once I get the balloons inflated because I get a different view of it, but I like to at least have something to start with. So I'm just laying out some colors of my larger 10-inch balloons and mixing them around, changing them up, seeing what I like the best. And then I'm going to start getting them inflated. Just trying to round it out a little bit. So I can just kind of deflate it to the size that I want. As you can see, it's slowly fitting in there now, but it's still above the number. So I'm going to deflate it a little bit more. I mean, you could keep it inflated to where the entire balloon, let me show you, covers the section. Kind of like that. And just have them lined up like that if you choose to do so. But I'm going to make it a little bit smaller because I want to add in some 5-inch balloons around it. And I just want them to have enough space to kind of all fit inside the number. So I feel like that should be a pretty decent size. I'm going to tie it in a knot. Just like that. And then go on to the next one. I'm just going to get them placed so I can make sure I don't want to rearrange them or anything before I glue them down. So again, I'm just tying it in a knot. You could use a balloon tire to assist with this step if you choose to do so. I think I'm going to add in a white after this one. So that's why I like kind of seeing how it looks, because you can mess around with it. And I want to change this, move that around, and just go from there. So I'm just going to continue doing this all the way around my number, and then I'm going to come back around and glue them in place. I'm not making them the exact same. I don't think it's a big deal to do so, but if you do, you can kind of use the balloon measuring cube and assist with making them all the exact same size, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Sometimes I end up needing more than I planned for, sometimes I need less. Looks like I'm going to need a little less than what I thought, which is perfectly fine with me. And that's why I don't glue them down yet, because I kind of mess around with them, play with them, and make sure they look exactly the way I want them to. It's like fitting a puzzle together. This is kind of like the base of our mosaic number. And some people like to just kind of leave it with the large ones and finish it off there. You can do so if you choose. So the smaller ones are going to kind of fit in between, like so. And when I push on it, I'm just kind of rounding it out. Once you get it to the size you want it to be, just tie it in a knot. Put it right in place. Alright, so let's get these glued down, and then we'll start adding in our filler balloons, which are the 5-inch balloons. So I'm just taking glue dots. And sometimes I put it on the balloon, sometimes at the bottom of my number, whichever you prefer. And if you do use double-sided tape, you could just take literally a strip of double-sided tape down the center of the number and just go from there. So that's just another option. Alright, place it on there. I just like to make sure that they're not going to budge or go anywhere. And then if you want to kind of adjust it, but it's being a little resistant, just add in another glue dot and push it in place. like so. Alright, so I'm going to do this for all of my larger balloons. And then, like I said, we will come back and add in our smaller filler balloons. And I'm kind of like zigzagging them somewhat just to make sure they all fit. You can even glue them to the wall as well. I have all of my balloons in place to make sure they're nice and secure. You can always go back and add more glue if you need to do so. Now I'm going to go back around and add in my smaller balloons. Same deal. I'm going to inflate all of them, place them, make sure I like what they look like. Now I'm inflating them where they're kind of coming out. If you don't want them to do so, then just make them a little bit smaller. But I just wanted the main balloons to stay inside the number, but I don't mind if the smaller ones are kind of coming out. I think it gives it even more of like a 3D effect, which I think is really cute. You could make them this small and just kind of place them in the middle. That's why I prefer to kind of get everything placed first, because I like to see what it looks like. Because I usually change it up a couple of times. Have all of my smaller balloons in place. You can definitely add more if you choose, but I've kind of moved them around a little bit and I like where they are, so I'm going to go ahead and take my glue dots and secure them in place. Now some of them are so snug that they're already pretty secure, but I'm going to add in at least one glue dot just to make sure it doesn't pop out of place. And just be mindful, sometimes as you're attaching them it can kind of pop them loose a little bit, so just be careful.
Add as many or as few balloons as you prefer, but we are all done. So cute, simple, and easy to make. Modify the color, the style, add in any additional embellishments you prefer.